I used to think I had the kind of marriage other women envied. Daniel, my husband, was the man everyone described as perfect. He was tall, sharp in his tailored suits, his dark hair always styled as though he just stepped out of some glossy magazine. He had this calm, confident smile that could win over clients in the boardroom, neighbors at dinner parties, and strangers in the grocery store. And then there was me, his wife, his supposed other half. We lived in a modern house with the wide glass windows and a kitchen bigger than the one I grew up in. We had the picture-perfect life, or at least, that's what I told myself. But perfection, I've learned, is nothing more than a mask. It started with little things, barely noticeable if you weren't paying attention. Daniel would linger on his phone longer at night. He started turning the screen away when I walked into the room. His late nights at the office became more frequent and his excuses rehearsed. Client dinner ran long. Traffic was a nightmare. You know how it is. For a while, I wanted to believe him. I wanted to be that loyal, trusting wife who brushed off her doubts as paranoia. But lies have a scent. One night, when Daniel came home past midnight, I leaned in to kiss him, and I froze. It wasn't cologne. It wasn't even whiskey. It was perfume, a faint floral trace that wasn't mine. He must have seen the way my lips pressed into a line, the hesitation in my eyes. "Don't start," he said quickly, shrugging out of his jacket. "A client's wife gave me a hug, nothing more. You know I only love you." His words were smooth, confident, too confident. But that's how Daniel worked. He made lies feel like truths. I told myself not to think about it, not to dwell, but once you start noticing, you can't stop. His smile seemed rehearsed. His compliments felt empty. His phone was practically glued to his hand. He even took it into the bathroom. Still, I played the part of the adoring wife. I cooked dinner, laughed at the right times, leaned into his shoulder when we were in public. But inside, unease was eating me alive. And then it happened. It was a Thursday afternoon, the kind where the world feels almost too ordinary. I was home alone, folding laundry in the living room, when I heard the doorbell ring. At first, I didn't think much of it. Maybe a delivery, maybe a neighbor. But when I opened the door, my heart stopped. There she was. A woman I had never seen before. She looked tired, pale, like she'd been carrying a weight far too heavy for her frame. She had long hair pulled back in a messy bun, her hands trembling slightly as they clutched a handbag. And then I saw it. Her stomach. She was pregnant, very pregnant. And her eyes searched mine with a mixture of fear and desperation. Are you Daniel's wife?" she asked. Her voice was soft, almost broken. I felt my throat tighten. "Yes, I am. Who are you?" She swallowed hard, her gaze dropping to the floor as if the words she was about to say were burning her from the inside out. "My name is Clara," she whispered, "and Daniel is the father of my child." For a moment, the world tilted. My hands grew cold, the air too thin to breathe. I wanted to laugh, scream, slam the door in her face, but I couldn't move. Her words pierced through me like glass. The father of her child. My husband. Daniel. I managed a whisper, my voice trembling. What did you just say?" She lifted her eyes, tears shimmering. "I didn't want to come here. I told myself I wouldn't, but he left me no choice. He won't answer my calls, my messages. He promised he would help me, that he wouldn't abandon me. But now, he's pretending I don't exist." My knees felt weak. I gripped the doorframe just to steady myself. I wanted to slam the door and make her vanish, erase her words like they were some cruel hallucination. But deep down, I knew. That perfume, the late nights, the distance. Daniel. And yet, some stubborn, foolish part of me needed to cling to denial. "There must be some mistake," I said, though the words sounded fragile, pathetic. "My husband, he would." She cut me off, her voice cracking. "Please, I'm not lying, I can prove it." Her hand slipped into her bag, pulling out a phone. She unlocked it with shaking fingers and thrust it toward me. And there he was. Daniel, smiling, his arm draped casually around her waist in photo after photo. Hotel rooms, Restaurants. His eyes looking at her the way I once thought he only looked at me. The floor felt like it gave way beneath me. My husband wasn't just cheating. He was building another life. And now, that life was standing on my doorstep. Clara's voice broke me out of my daze. I didn't come here to hurt you. I don't know what else to do. He promised me everything. And now, her hand rested protectively on her belly. Now there's more at stake. I stared at her, at the fragile swell of her stomach, at the undeniable evidence in her phone, at the quiet desperation in her eyes. And for the first time in my marriage, I felt the mask shatter. The illusion of perfection was gone. I was standing in the wreckage. If a pregnant stranger showed up at your door claiming your husband was the father, would you let her in or shut her out? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, because in this story, the stranger's revelation will expose just how deep Daniel's lies truly run. I stood frozen at the doorway, Clara's words echoing in my skull like an unwanted song I couldn't silence. I stood frozen at the doorway, Clara's words echoing in my skull like an unwanted song I couldn't silence. Daniel is the father of my child. The sentence replayed, over and over, each time sharper than the last. For a moment, I couldn't decide what hurt more, the betrayal itself, or the fact that a stranger had been forced to reveal it to me. Clara's eyes pleaded with me, her hand hovering near her belly like a shield. The late afternoon sun cast a pale light over her face, softening her exhaustion but not the truth etched in her features. She wasn't lying. I knew it. But still, I whispered, "This doesn't make sense." Her voice trembled. It didn't make sense to me either, at first, but then he told me everything, how he felt trapped in a marriage that looked perfect on the outside but was suffocating him. He said you didn't understand him anymore. Her words hit me like blows. Daniel's words. Words he had whispered to her, the same lips that had once promised me forever. I wanted to scream that she was wrong, that Daniel loved me, that he chose me. But even as the thought formed, I remembered the perfume, the coldness in his eyes, the excuses stacking higher and higher. He had chosen her, too. I tightened my grip on the doorframe, grounding myself. "Why are you here, Clara?" Tears welled in her eyes. "Because he's pretending I don't exist. Because I'm 6 months pregnant and he promised he'd be there for me. And now, he doesn't answer my calls, he avoids me, he blocks my number. I thought maybe you could make him face the truth." Her words sliced through me. I felt like a fool, his wife, unknowingly turned into an accomplice to his double life. And yet, Clara wasn't my enemy. Daniel was. I inhaled deeply, fighting to steady my voice. "Come inside." Her relief was visible, though her steps were hesitant as she entered my home, our home. The polished floors, the family photos on the walls, the faint scent of the candles I had lit hours earlier. It must have felt surreal to her. We sat in the living room. I perched on the edge of the sofa, my body stiff, while Clara lowered herself into the armchair, one hand rubbing absent-mindedly over the curve of her stomach. For a moment, the silence stretched. Only the ticking of the clock filled the air. Then she spoke. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she whispered. "When I met Daniel, I didn't even know he was married. He never wore a ring. He told me he was single, that he was focused on work. And he made me feel seen, like I mattered, like I was special." The sting of her words made my eyes burn. Special. That was exactly how he used to make me feel in the early years. Clara's gaze dropped. "When I found out the truth, that he had a wife, I tried to end it. But he wouldn't let me go. He said he was unhappy, that he loved me, that he was planning to leave, but he needed time." I almost laughed, but it came out as a bitter, broken sound. "He's been feeding me that same story for years, just in reverse." She winced, her lips pressing together. I studied her, this stranger who was no longer a stranger. She was younger than me, maybe late 20s, with delicate features and a fragility that almost disarmed me. And yet, she was carrying the weight of a betrayal neither of us had asked for. "What do you want from me?" I asked finally, my voice harsher than I intended. She hesitated. I want him to take responsibility, not just for me, for our child. He can't pretend this isn't happening. He can't keep lying to both of us." Her words hung heavy in the air. Our child. Daniel's child. Not mine. The image of his arms wrapped around her in those photos burned behind my eyelids. I wanted to rip the frames off the walls, shatter the glass, tear down the life I had so carefully built with him. Instead, I sat in silence, my chest tight with rage and humiliation. Clara leaned forward, her voice lower now. "I don't hate you. You should know that. If anything, I feel sorry for you, because I see it now. He lies to everyone." Her pity was unbearable. I forced myself to meet her eyes. "Clara, if you're expecting me to defend him, I won't. If you're expecting me to fight you, I won't do that either. The truth is, he's betrayed us both. And maybe," my throat tightened, "maybe it's time the mask came off." And in that moment, a plan began too. As for me, I signed the papers. Divorce was my closure, my freedom. I walked away with nothing material, but with everything that mattered: my dignity, my voice, and the lesson that silence only feeds betrayal. Clara and I stayed in touch. We were not friends exactly, but allies, bound by the man who tried to break us and the strength we found in breaking free. And Daniel. He learned the kind of karma that doesn't strike like lightning, but unravels slowly, painfully. Every lie he told built the stage for his downfall, and when the curtain finally fell, he stood alone in the ruins of his own deceit. I sometimes wonder if he still tells himself stories, still rehearses alibis in the mirror. But I don't care anymore, because my story no longer belongs to him. It belongs to me. Daniel's perfect alibi crumbled under the weight of his own lies. Do you think karma always finds its way back? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more gripping stories of love, betrayal, and shocking twists, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss what comes after the lie.